So, today I'm going to be touching base on the subject of redshirting, which in early childhood education, it generally means to hold a child back for 1 year before starting kindergarten if they'd be the youngest in the classroom due to their birthday. Children who are redshirted and held back start kindergarten at the age of 6. So the statement that was provided for this assignment is as follows. Delaying children's entry into school and or segregating them into extra year classes actually labels children as failures at the outset of their school experience. Now, as a preschool teacher, I would have to agree with the statement, not because a child would be labeled a failure in the eyes of teachers, but more because a child would view him or herself as a failure. Children who are redshirted tend to become delayed socially and academically, and therefore as they grow older, they may compare themselves and their abilities to their peers. Doing so, and when seeing a difference, which is usually the case because every child is different, it may cause them to see themselves as failures or as less capable to achieve the things that they want to achieve or that's given to them to achieve. And in general, what this does is that it makes a child develop a negative outlook in school and in life in general. Usually these kids develop behavioral problems and eventually they drop out of school. I would recommend parents, again, against redshirting their child. I'd let them know that holding their child out will only deprive them of instruction that would otherwise promote learning of many skills regardless of their age. Children are natural learners and their development must always be stimulated and by the world around them and by their peers. By their peers meaning their teachers or their classmates. This wouldn't be effective at home it wouldn't be possible at all just by receiving instruction or just by being at home with their parent or a grandparent. For instance, in a kindergarten classroom, a child could be interacting with their peers and they can learn a lot just by looking at their classmates. For example, if they see a child doing something that they themselves have never done before or have ever thought of doing, it could cause them to broaden their creativity and basically motivate them to try new actions. Another example would be a teacher could be asking questions throughout a lecture, which in turn would stimulate the child's mind and promote new ways of thinking for the child. And generally, it would help the child develop their critical thinking skills. Okay, so another thing I'd address to parents who are considering holding their child back is to take into consideration that their child will have to receive special education services later if they are held out. And the earlier the child is enrolled in kindergarten, the earlier they will receive services if they're eligible. So generally, parents need to realize that every child develops at a different level and at a different pace. Whether they decide to hold their child back because they will be among the youngest in the class, or whether they decide to go ahead and let their child enter kindergarten. In the end, the child's development and academic achievements will be relatively based on his or her ability. So the best bet here is to have the child enter kindergarten when they're supposed to enter kindergarten, whether they be the youngest or not. And that would be my advice as a preschool teacher to the parents. So I think that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for listening and feel free to leave your feedback down below. Thank you.